Hey Bears fans, thank you so much. We hit 22,000 subscribers just yesterday, so round of applause to all of you guys who have subscribed. If you haven't already, I encourage you guys to do so. It's 100% free daily videos here on this channel surrounding the latest on the Chicago Bears, the latest rumors, news, trade rumors, mailbags, free agency and draft coverage, and a whole lot more. Hit that big red button and subscribe. Do it for Jordan. Let's get to 23,000 subscribers. Hit that link, youtube.com/Bears Now. With that being said, a lot of rumors to dive into, so let's go ahead and start today's video. Are the Chicago Bears getting impatient with the Philadelphia Eagles when it comes to Carson Wentz? I'm going to give this one two smoking J's. I think people are talking. There's definitely some truth to this because, around the day before the Super Bowl, we were like, a trade could be imminent. So I was like, oh man, I better be ready for Monday, the day after the Super Bowl. We could go live for a Carson Wentz trade. Now we're sitting here on Thursday, and there's still no trade that has happened. The Bears are getting really impatient, according to Brandon Robinson of Windy City Gridiron. He's been covering this Wentz situation for the last week or so. Now, we do know that the Eagles are holding out for a Stafford-like deal, which is multiple first-round picks. I don't believe they're going to get that. Like most people think that is a total bluff from Philadelphia, but they haven't traded yet, so maybe they're holding out for that. The Bears need to know where they sit at quarterback, which is why I think it's fairly likely that they're going to start getting impatient if they aren't already with the Philadelphia Eagles. Here's what Brandon Robinson had to say on a podcast just recently, saying, from what I understand, the Bears made an offer that was bigger than what the Colts had already offered. The Bears had previously offered 2 second-round picks, so it was bigger than that. He also said this, I think 100% Foles will be in the deal because that is an important part of the deal because Carson will not want him in the same locker room. But what I would expect is if I had to place it right now, it would be next year's first-round pick, this year's third-round pick, or this year's first-round pick and next year's fourth-round pick. So he thinks at the end of the day, if a trade goes down, it'll be like a first, then either a third or fourth-round pick, depending on the year. Basically, what does all this mean? Nothing has changed in at least 3 days now. The Bears, we think, have a fairly decent offer out there, but the Eagles aren't budging. They want multiple first-round picks, and the Bears are just kind of hanging out. And it sounds like they're not going to raise their offer at this point, and they're getting frustrated. They're saying, hey, we've given you a decent offer here. Carson Wentz wants out. Just give him to us. And look, you know me, I'm not a big fan of the whole Carson Wentz idea in the first place, but we're just in a holding pattern at this point. Last time we talked about this on Tuesday, not a lot has changed since that point in time. The Eagles have offers from the Bears and Colts. Do they want to take one of those offers? We'll have to wait and see if either of these teams raises their offer between now and a trade. Would you trade a first-round pick for Carson Wentz? Type Y for yes, type 2 for no, or type N for no. I like the idea of the multiple seconds. Hey, I'd probably do that for Wentz. That's worth a gamble at that point, but a first and a third feels a little rich for me still. Y for yes, N for no. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Now, Ryan Pace better not budge. I think he's handled this pretty well so far. It doesn't sound like he's, raised his offer too much at this point, as Philadelphia is still holding out for a higher offer. Carson Wentz, the Eagles, they don't have leverage to try and get a higher offer because he was so bad last year. He was an absolute disaster for the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, these are backup type of numbers. These are numbers when you lose your starter early in the season. Hey, let's put our backup in and just hope he's decent. And he was less than that. He just was not very good. So I don't get this whole idea of we want a Matt Stafford and multiple first-round picks type of offer. Why? Like, I get why you would want one, but why do you think you should deserve that? He is coming off a bad season. He has an injury history, and he's got leadership concerns. Carson Wentz is extremely talented, which is why the Chicago Bears and Colts are interested, but at the end of the day, value is important, and the Bears at this point are growing impatient with the Eagles. The Eagles are asking for too much. We'll see if there's a compromise at some point, but as of now, this is just where we sit. Today's show presented by ProFlowers. 3 days away from Valentine's Day. Get 15% off when you go to chatsports.com/flowers. That link will be in the comments. It'll be in the description. Tons of different flower options available for you guys. By the way, especially even here in Texas, the weather is really cold and really tough out there right now, so you don't want to go out and embrace the crazies to get your wife or girlfriend flowers. Just let Pro Flowers handle it for you. You pick out the ones you want. They're going to ship them to whatever address you want for 15% off when you go to chatsports.com/flowers. Tons of sweets are available as well. So you can get chocolates, you can get flowers, you can get charcuterie boards. Lots of different options are available. Go to that link, chatsports.com/flowers. I'll put it in the comments and the description. Time is running out. The clock is ticking. So go ahead and get 15% off today. Valentine's Day, this Sunday. You don't want to miss it. We take a look at the Smokin' Jay rumor meter. Maybe you haven't seen these before. What's a Smokin' Jay? Okay, here it is. 0 Smokin' Jays, it's fake news. It's not going to happen. It's Dan Cilio. 1 Smokin' Jay, it's barely true. It could happen, but it's pretty unlikely. 2 Smokin' Jays, people are talking. Like, it's definitely a possibility. 3 Smokin' Jays, it's pretty likely, but it's not guaranteed. 4 Smokin' Jays, bear down because it is happening. I gave 2 Smokin' Jays for the Bears being impatient. There is some logic to that rumor that is out there as of now. How about this one? Should the Bears trade up for Mac Jones? I'll give it 1 Smokin' Jay. It could be true. It's barely true, but I'm not there yet. Todd McShay released his latest mock draft, and he has the Bears trading up from number 20 all the way up to number 12 to get Mac Jones. He has 5 quarterbacks in the top 12 picks of his latest mock draft. Now, I will say this. If the Carson Wentz thing falls apart and the Bears don't get him, if they don't feel like they can get Deshaun Watson, at that point, the draft becomes your next area of target when it comes to getting a quarterback if you are the Chicago Bears. And it is possible that if you want one of the top 5 guys, or really 2 through 5, because we know Lawrence for sure is going number 1, you may have to trade up because a lot of teams are interested in this loaded draft class. I'm comfortable with Mac Jones at 20. Number 12, though, that's a different story. Here was the trade McShay put together. Mac Jones to the Bears for, obviously, number 20 this year, who he had the 49ers taking Trayvon Merrick. A 2021 second-round pick, which is number 52 overall this year. And then he said either a future first or second in 2022. I think a second would be more than enough value because you're already giving up 20 this year, 52 this year. I think another second-round pick really does it. From 20 to 12, it's not like it's 20 to 5. So I don't think you'd have to give up another first there. So I put another second there. Who wins this trade? What do you think? Type CHI for the Bears, type SF for the Niners. On the surface, I kind of think the Niners would win this trade. Obviously, if Mac Jones becomes a franchise quarterback, he's more than worth it, but there's just some unknown there. So I don't know. CHI for the Bears, SF for the 49ers. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. For me, number 12 feels high for Mac Jones, and I like Mac Jones. I'm high on Mac Jones. I think he could come in and play as a rookie and be fairly effective. Now, he's not super mobile, so you've got to figure out offensive line. That's an issue, too, with this trade. You don't have your second-round pick, so how are you helping yourself out at left or right tackle? Free agency? Maybe. Maybe you try and pull off another trade, but you don't have a lot of draft capital at that point. I would much rather hope that Jones fell to 15 or 16 than make a move. Moving it all the way up to 12, I mean, it's going to cost you decent picks there. McShay has 4 quarterbacks in the top 4 in his latest mock draft. Trevor Lawrence, number 1 to Jacksonville. Zach Wilson, number 2 to the Jets. He's got Carolina trading from 8 to 3 to select Trey Lance. And then Justin Fields going to the Falcons at number 4 before Mac Jones going to the Bears at number 12 via trade. I think he felt like, hey, 4 quarterbacks top 4. If the Bears want one, they're going to have to trade up to get a guy like Mac Jones. So we'll see what happens. I think moving up to 12 is a little rich for him. I'd feel better if it was 15 or 16, and obviously if he was just sitting there at 20. But the Wentz thing falls through, the Bears might get pretty desperate as they are already. Pick an option. Would you rather trade for Carson Wentz or trade up for Mac Jones in the draft? Not the best options. Type CW for Carson Wentz trade. Type MJ for trading up for Mac Jones. Curious where you guys land on this one. Go ahead and cast your votes. Next rumor is Mitch Trubisky and the Bears. Is that divorce a done deal? Yeah, this is for Smoking Jays. And I've kind of been saying this for a while. I was more in like the 3.5. Maybe there's a tiny chance he's back. It's not happening. Like, it's over. And David Kaplan of ESPN 1000 has basically confirmed that, saying that neither party wants a reunion. Even Trubisky at this point is like, yeah, I'm better off somewhere else. So this isn't surprising, right? This is the logical outcome for both parties. I said it once they brought back Matt Nagy, there's no way Trubisky was going to be back. There's no way they were going to just run back the complete same regime. That makes no sense whatsoever. So he'll hit free agency in March. He'll be elsewhere next season, and we'll see what happens with him in his career. But we know it will not be with Chicago. Here's David Kaplan saying, I have talked to people who are close to Mitchell Trubisky. He has zero interest in coming back here, hence the four Smoking Jays. I've also talked to people who are close to Matt Nagy, and they have zero interest in him coming back here. I wish Mitchell Trubisky the best. The kid worked hard. He tried. He did some good things. He rallied the team this year to the playoffs. He was a decent reason why they won some games down the stretch. Now, I'll stay consistent. In the big games, he wasn't good enough, and that's okay. It's hard to be a damn good NFL quarterback, and he's an okay one. He's not a complete bust. Like, he's a fringe starting quarterback in the NFL. Ryan Pace just picked the wrong guy to trade up for. That's why he's, GMs are judged for those type of things because he picked the wrong one. I wish him the best. Hopefully he lands in a situation where he can hit the reset button and eventually become a starter again. There's just no way it was going to be in Chicago. The numbers are what they are. They're pretty average. We'll see what happens with them, but the Trubisky era in Chicago, yeah, it's pretty much officially over. Where will Mitchell Trubisky play next season? Predict it for me. Gosh, this is a tough one. People say New England, but I don't like that fit for him. What about Washington? I'll throw that out there. Washington? Let me know what you guys think. Predict it for me. I could also see the Packers swooping in and signing him on a one-year deal. We'll have to wait and see. It could be a dark horse fit. How about trading for Orlando Brown? That's our last rumor of the day. One Smoking Jay, I won't rule it out because the Bears need a tackle, and Orlando Brown could be available. Here's the latest here. Fansided threw together some trade ideas, but a lot of people out there have thrown this out there. Orlando Brown has requested a trade. That much we know. Ian Rappaport has reported that, and the reason why is not that Brown's unhappy in Baltimore, but he played left tackle this year because when Ronnie Stanley got hurt, who the Ravens have already given the bag to, problem is he's coming back next year, and he'll be the left tackle. Orlando Brown wants to play left tackle, so he's requested a trade. He said, hey, I want to be a left tackle. And why? You know why? Because left tackles get paid more, and he played really well there last year, so it makes sense that he would want to get a trade, be a left tackle for a couple of years remaining on his rookie contract, and then get the bag in about 2022 or 2023. That's not surprising. Will Baltimore trade him? We'll wait and see. It's probably going to cost at least a first-round pick, but we know with the Bears, their biggest needs are quarterback and offensive tackle. The problem is you got to figure out quarterback first. If quarterback is figured out, if it's settled and you can still trade for Orlando Brown, sign me up. I know there's a lot of tackles in this draft that are good. We know Orlando Brown's good already. Like, if you could get Wentz without trading your first this year, I'd send 20 to Baltimore for Orlando Brown. I wouldn't even think twice about that because then you've got quarterback and left tackle solved. Hopefully quarterback. If it's Wentz, we'll have to see what happens. But it's going to cost a first for Orlando Brown. I think he went in the third round, but 2 straight Pro Bowls for the young tackle for Baltimore. He's going to be very, very good, entering the final year of his deal on his rookie contract. So you'd have him cheap for this year, then you'd have to pay him. So we'll see. I think it's going to cost a first. If quarterback's figured out, though, I'm definitely down because I think you got to at least upgrade from one of your tackle spots, whether it's Massey or Leno. I don't care which one. You got to upgrade at one of those spots. I think you're okay on the interior. I think Mustipher will be your center. I think Whitehair and Daniels can hold it down at guard. If you could get Orlando Brown at left tackle and a quarterback, that's a damn good offseason. Like, obviously, if you get Carson Wentz, I'm going to be skeptical. But if you protect him, if you re-sign Allen Robinson, new scene, maybe he's able to hit that reset button. You can run the football with Montgomery. There's at least some excitement if those things happen. Should the Bears trade for Orlando Brown? Type 1 for yes, type 2 for no. We'll leave you with this one. Get your answers in the comments. We'll see you very, very soon. 1 for yes, 2 for no. Should the Bears trade for Orlando Brown?